Hi y'all, welcome. For this fall project number 3, I am beginning with a little board that I found at Hobby Lobby in the fall section. It was $2.99, so $3, and then 40% off of that. I am going to end up making a shadow box using some Barnwood that I also bought at Hobby Lobby and getting my husband to help with that, but that'll be a little bit later on. So for the first step, I am cutting here an image that I printed on rice paper. I will link where I got the image from Etsy in the description box below the video. And it's a pretty good little deal because there are 25 different images that you can get. She had it like half price or even less than that right now. And the images are gorgeous. They print beautifully. They come in multiple sizes if you wanted to just do a gallery wall. And then she also has some that she turned into squares. So that's what I'm using here, is this tree with the beautiful orange leaves with a foggy background. And I sized it to pretty much fit my board there. Now, I didn't like the color of the board, so I decided to sand it back a bit, and then I just went over it with Dixie Belle's Dark and Decrepit Liquid Patina. After the board was dry, then it was time to decoupage on my paper, and I am using DIY Liquid Patina. Now you'll notice that the board has some grooves in it, so I'm making sure that I get that liquid patina down in those grooves, and I do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure I have it down in there. And as I start to decoupage the paper on, I will push the paper down in the groove with my fingernail, and not too hard because I don't want to tear the rice paper. I started with the middle groove there, pushing it down in there, then working my way to the right and then to the left. I used to use balled up saran wrap to smooth out my rice paper, but what I had found is that a lot of times it will get the glue adhesive on it, and it's just harder to work with. So I really like using my hand inside a Ziploc bag, and that way I can really feel if there are any bubbles. And again, I was pushing down the paper into those grooves. Top coating it again with another coat of liquid patina and allowing that to dry. Little errors sometimes turn into happy accidents. I really didn't like the way the paper looked just with a tiny little border of the wood, the weathered wood looking wood showing. And plus I didn't have it totally the same margins on all sides. So to correct that, I decided to use the smallest little rope mold that I have using the Hardy Soft Clay. Now, that mold is only 7 inches in length, and the board is 8.5. So, when I need a longer piece of something, when I'm doing some kind of trim mold, what I do is when I get to the end, and I've shown this a gazillion times in various videos, but when I get to the end, I carefully stop just shy, and then I lift up the whole clay piece, match it up on the other side, tuck it in there, and then continue on. And all I needed to do was just a little bit more, going a little bit beyond my 8.5 inch measurements so that I have enough, and then I will do that 4 pieces, one for each of the 4 sides of the frame. Whenever I'm at Hobby Lobby, I always take my time and pick up little things that I think I might use that are on sale. Well, I found this little pumpkin and the leaf cut out, made out of wood, on a little stand. I thought those are cute. They were $1 a piece, on sale, 40% off, so 60 cents each. The leaf was actually my inspiration for this whole shadow box and for the choice that I made on the decoupage picture that I printed on rice paper. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, so I just stained both sides. It really wasn't totally a wasted effort because I would have had to stain the back anyway, but when I decided I was going to do something on the front, I had to paint it with some white chalk paint. And you'll see what I do next to create fall-looking leaves on baker paper that I can then decoupage onto the front of the leaf.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun will spread your joy to the ones who lost their hope. Fill my head with roses. I can't help but dream away. Standing on a field with you and flowers everywhere. Maybe there is a star with your name. One thing I know is that there should be. There is no one a heart as pure, no, not like yours. Dreaming of you. Dreaming of you. Smile. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars.
I had left the leaf in the little stand because it was much easier to paint that way. I had something to hold on to. But I knew I was going to have to take the stand off to get the look that I was going to go for when I started working on the frame. So the heat burning tool was what I ended up using to burn away, melt that glue that was holding the leaf into its little base. Although I think the leaf coloring is beautiful, it's too orange to match the leaves in the picture. So I've got to make an adjustment. I did not have any just red alcohol ink. I had magenta, which wasn't exactly the right color to use, but it's what I had, and I will tone it with some burnt umber. And then I think it's pretty cool match. This shadow box, by the time the frame is attached, is going to be close to like a 10 by 10. Certainly people might be able to find a little spot on a wall where they could place that, but I had in mind more to make some feet that would keep in the theme. So using the IOD mold, I am pouring the leaf that is in, let me think, the I Love You mold. I always mix up more resin than I need, and you see I'm starting with a Christmas mold from last year. That is a very different creation that I am going to attempt when I start crafting for Christmas in a couple of weeks. Anyway, I will need to pour 4 of the leaves to make the feet for the shadow box. I want these little leaf feet to look like they were carved out of wood, so I need to attempt to match it to this particular Barnwood that we are using. I've shown that very same technique before in last year when I made the Advent calendar. It's in part 3, and I give really explicit step-by-step instructions in that video. But each Barnwood piece is a little bit different, so you have to think about it and study the piece and look at the colors to try to see what you want to match. And ultimately, it's a series of dry brushing techniques. You need to use the crummiest little chip brush you can find and make sure each layer is dry before you do the next one.
down the north wind to come on out. Then cupped his hands so proudly to shout, la-di-da, oh la-di-da, 'tis autumn. The trees say they're tired for too much fruit. John all the wayside, there's no dispute. Now shedding leaves, they don't give a hoot. La-di-da, oh la-di-da, 'tis autumn. Then the birds got together to chirp about the weather. After making their decision in birdie-like precision, turned about and made a beeline for the south. My holding you close really is no crime. Ask the birds, the trees, and old Father Time. It's just to help the mercury climb. La-di-da, do-da-di-da, 'tis autumn. Together to chirp about the weather. After making their decision in birdie-like precision, turned about and made a beeline for the south. My holding you close really is no crime. Ask the birds, the trees, and old Father Time. It's just to help the mercury climb. La-di-da, oh la-da-dee-dee-da.